Debra Murphy here. We are at Farm Tech, joined by Saskatchewan farmer Kim Keller, and also co-founder of the Do More Agriculture Foundation.
That's right.
You guys had your soft launch last week and kind of a big launch this week. Tell us about the foundation.
Right, so the Do More Ag Foundation, we're a champion for the mental well-being for producers across Canada. And we're really working to change the culture in agriculture where every producer feels that they are supported and encouraged to actually take care of their mental well-being.
So you talk a lot about stigma as one of your goals, to break down stigma. Are we behind the eight ball in agriculture?
You know what, I think we're kind of right where everyone else is in terms of other industries and the rest of society. And I would say that even in the last 6 months, we might even be kind of leading the charge in industries that are like agriculture. So there's a lot of stigma still out there, but I think in the last 6 months, we've even done so much work in breaking that down.
And so will the foundation focus on mental health and mental illness?
Yes, so it'll be primarily mental health, but what we want to do is focus on the awareness and education, because we feel that there's a big misunderstanding about what mental health is and what mental illness is, because they're often used synonymously.
Sure,
but they're
maybe
not,
break it down for us.
But they're not the same.
Yeah.
Right? So mental health affects each and every one of us. It's a part of us. We have no choice whether we have it or we don't. And whereas mental illness doesn't affect each one of us. There's been studies that show that 1 in 5 of us will experience a mental illness during the course of our lifetime.
So it's shocking, because in terms of physical health, we all have physical health. It's really easy for us to understand that. We don't all have cancer.
Exactly.
And that's a physical illness, right?
Exactly.
But why is it okay for us to go into a hospital and say, I need help with my treatment, but it's not okay, it doesn't feel right to do the same for mental health?
You know, I think it's sort of the image that we've built up of who a farmer is, what a farmer is, that we're this strong, proud industry and we're so tough and we tough it out through these really tough times. But we don't talk about the impact that it actually has on our individuals, our farms, our families, and our larger communities. And in the last 2 years, we've seen that slowly start to change, but I would say even in the last 6 months, it's really started to change, where the industry is finally ready to start talking about stuff other than how to be the most efficient and how to get the most out of every acre and how to be the most productive. They're actually willing to start talking about the people behind that production.
So there are 4 co-founders in the foundation.
Yes.
What inspired you guys to get this going?
So myself and one of the co-founders, Himanshu Singh, we've been trying to move the conversation forward around mental health for quite some time now. With our previous company, Farm at Hand, we had a t-shirt campaign here for farmers. And at that time, we did get pushback from companies saying, you know what, we're not ready to talk about this yet. But then this past summer, I received a message on Twitter from someone who had lost a farmer to suicide. And he was looking for help and resources for the family, as well as his other farmers that he thought might be struggling. And I didn't know where to send him, and I didn't know what to give him. And the fact that we were still in the same place as we were 2 years ago, I remember messaging Himanshu and I'm like, do you think I could put this out on Twitter? And he goes, yep. So the next morning I put a call to action out to Twitter, and I mean, everyone has been sort of just taking that and running with it. And that's sort of where Leslie Kelly came in, because her and Matt actually did a Periscope over Twitter, sharing their experience, both of them in their mental health journeys, which then that sort of went viral, and then it really got the ball rolling. And Kirk Myers, who's the 4th co-founder, grew up in ag and feels that agriculture has contributed to where he is today in life, and he had an opportunity to kind of give back. And he thought, you know, what better way to than be a part of a foundation and make a real impact on an industry he really loves.
You talked about it being a struggle to find the right resources. Is that for mental health and mental illness in general, or for the agriculture community specifically?
Well, I think it's in general, but it is a specific issue for the agriculture industry, because agriculture is a unique industry in terms of how we operate, sort of our busy times, and sort of all the pressures and stresses that are on us that maybe aren't the same as someone who lives in a more urban area. Also, most of the health services are actually focused around urban areas, which aren't where we all live. So it's not very conducive to someone taking perhaps a full day off when it's harvest or seeding or even spraying, to go into the city and see someone. So we really have to start looking at how can we utilize those services in a different way. Can we use technology in a way to reach people that maybe aren't able to, leave their farm at that certain time to actually talk to someone or get help?
So what are some of your guys' specific goals regarding resources and stigma?
So we have two main focuses over the next 12 to 18 months. First and foremost is to break that stigma. So it's really about awareness, education, and working towards having that more open conversation. So talking about mental health isn't awkward, it isn't hard, and it becomes as commonplace as talking about your physical health. Second to that is really building out that community where people can connect should they need support or to talk to someone, and they can also actually find resources that are in their area. Because another thing we've identified is that if someone realizes that they need help, finding those resources and where to go is really tough. There's resources out there, but they're all kind of scattered and kept in different areas. So we want to bring those all into one place so that they can come to domore.ag and find where they are.
So in terms of breaking down the stigma, do you guys have a set goal for how many events you're going to attend, or what? That's a big thing to do, So what is the foundation?
We're working with healthcare professionals across the country.
Yep.
And one of the things we really want to start with is something as simple as mental health first aid. So most of us have taken physical first aid, but not many of us have taken mental health first aid. So what we want to do is get mental health first aid across the industry. And not only that companies are taking it, but that they're also helping their producers take that. And we want to help get that out there and get more producers into that program to really start on the education and understanding piece.
So you've started accepting money now. What can sponsors, expect from providing those funds?
It really depends on the level of partnership that they would engage with us. And I'm happy to answer any questions. If anyone has any questions, they can email us at hello@domore.ag and we'll get back to them right away.
Awesome. Kim Keller, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.